Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Enchanting Lawyer podcast. This is a podcast where we interview the most inspiring entrepreneurs, business people from all over the world, and they inspire us and make us do our job better and be more productive and achieve amazing results. And we interview different people over the past few podcasts that provide inspiration and very interesting stories, not necessarily in the legal or the business world. And today I'm very, very honored and excited to have a true specialist, one of a kind, one of the few in the world that really knows and understands the behind the scenes of Facebook funnels, Facebook ads. There's so many people out there that claim to be experts and claim to know what they're doing in this field, and literally there are only a few people who really understand that. And he's going to be on the show today, and we're going to dive in with him to very interesting content that I'm sure is going to benefit you, the listeners. And I know many of you are interested and struggling sometimes with understanding the power of Facebook and what you can do with it. And today we're going to reveal all this, and it's pretty exciting. So today I have Tarek Statico. Tarek is an online business strategist and a consultant. He helped really many marketers and business people and celebrities. Many of you know, and we can't really tell them who they are. But many of these people use Facebook ads to distribute their content, and you see them everywhere. And he is the one that's behind the scenes and helping all this become visible. He worked with people who spent thousands of dollars a month on campaigns that generated millions of dollars in revenues from these campaigns, all from Facebook ads. He did launches, webinars, and products ranging from content that is available online. And I'm excited to have Tarek here today. Tarek, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jacob. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Excellent. And you you work with all these people, and I have to tell the listeners that over the years we became friends, and you're a personal friend of mine, and you also helped me in my own law firm to do amazing things, and we're going to share that as well with our listeners so we can kind of show how it's done. But I know that you are. I mean, even now you're working with some with a very, very famous person, and this person spends almost $100,000 a month on ads, and he generates amazing results. But to think about that, $100,000 a month is unbelievable, but it works, and you're here to tell us. So first of all, Tarek, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? A few minutes. I mean, you're coming from a very exotic country, and you live here in the U.S. You live in the dream. So why don't you tell us a little bit, and when we can dive into the content.
Sure. Well, I came from Trinidad. It's in Caribbean, just off the coast of
Uh-huh.
Venezuela, South America, and I studied a lot of IT and thinking there. And when I started to come to the US, I was first introduced to the online world and what people were doing to really build their businesses. And that was somewhere around 2007, 2008, 2009, when people were really now using social media and using paid advertising. Google ads were out for a while. And then I really saw, I got the opportunity to see behind the scenes people were actually making money online and helping and serving a lot of people exponentially. So I decided to quit IT and just really focus on the internet marketing world and what business owners, a new age of business owners, are really doing out there. And it's been a journey where I've been learning a lot of stuff. I'm still a big student. I don't consider myself an expert. I'm just consider myself a guy that takes what's out there, apply, test, learn, improve, and just become better every day and to help more and more people.
Right, and the thing is, this is one of those areas that they're changing so fast. I mean, just Facebook itself, using Facebook effectively is one thing, but being able to use the tools that Facebook offers us to be able to build marketing campaigns, sales funnels, and things like that are so effective, whatever business we are, whether we are attorneys, accountants, we have a product. So I wanted to start with understanding what is a sales funnel, because people are talking about sales funnel. It's all over the internet. I would like to understand first of all what it is and the benefits.
Right. So a sales funnel, when people, a lot of times you see online, people talk about Facebook ads and they focus on Facebook ads, and then they talk about a sales funnel and they talk about these sequences and they get complicated. But really and truly, Facebook ads and Google ads and sales funnels, they're all really a systematic, or it's supposed to be a really systematic and strategic way to move people from, I call them suspects. That's people who are not aware of you and what you offer, into becoming a prospect. And from prospect, becoming a lead, and into a buying customer, and then into a recurring customer, into a lifetime fan. So it's a way to set up your marketing and sales that flows from one into the other. And that's really a sales funnel. And when you think about Starbucks and when you think about airline companies that
Right.
you book your tickets to travel, they have sales funnels in place because they have customers coming in, they have customers who are in their loyalty program and who are always recurring buyers. And when you talk about, for example, law practice, and we talk about online funnels, we're looking at ways and means to acquire leads online using Facebook and using Google AdWords and using social media, and turn them into from prospects into customers. So, for example, we might set up an online ad that might
Right.
lead to a form they fill. So, and that's a basic, this the basic or fundamentals of an online sales funnel.
So, and essentially, they don't have to be very complicated. You can start with one scale, one kind of one level, and that's a funnel, just to get from point one point to the second point.
Exactly. It's all about how do you generate a lead and how do you close a lead. It could be a simple form as they click an ad, they see your number, they call it, and you have someone on the phone pick up the phone and they answer. That's a very, very basic
Funnel.
sales process. And it's a building block of a sales funnel in place. And you can get complicated and have a follow-up sequence afterwards,
Right.
which is a critical part of the funnel, in that because most people, they don't buy right away. They need to be nurtured. You have to build up trust. And the way online how we do it is you get the customer's contact information, name, email address, and they put that into a form maybe, and you follow up with good content that teaches them, educates them, and give them what options they have, and you're really building that trust, and that's really what a follow up system does. A sales funnel does to build that trust. So when you're ready, you offer them something and they buy.
So, if you had to say in one sentence, what an ideal Facebook funnel should look like to land clients or
Mhm.
customers.
An ideal sales funnel, Facebook sales funnel, it should have an ad that takes them to a specific offer. And when I say specific offer, I mean they click on the ad, they go to a page on your website, not your website by itself, but a specific page that has a specific offer and a specific request that asks for their contact information. That could be name, email, address. And when they enter that, they go into your database where you have a follow up process. Now, it's not necessary to get super complicated with a email autoresponder system, and I'll talk about that later. But it's really important to have generate the lead. When they hit the page, there's some sort of call to action. It might be to call a number or it might be to enter name, email address. But so it's really important to generate the lead and have a process to make sure the lead is followed up on.
Excellent. And then, Tarek, you mentioned even to me several times when we're talking and working on my funnels, something that is called the reptilian brain. And that's something interesting that I wanted to maybe get more from you. What do you think Facebook ads and Facebook funnels appealing to the what do you call the reptilian brain? Explain to me and to our listeners what it is and why is it so important.
So the reptilian brain, when we think about the billboard ads, and in the old days, we used to use well, we still use billboard ads, I
Sure.
should say. But when you think about that, there is you think about you're driving down the highway, and then you see this ad, this billboard. It needs to get your attention because you only have that window of time to that specific time to get your attention, and it has to be very interruptive. So so that image and that words that you see on the billboard, it has to be super appealing. And what is really happening on a subconscious level is that it's appealing to what we call the reptilian brain. Now, there's three brains. There's a logical brain,
Hmm.
there is the emotional brain, and there's the reptilian or the animalistic brain. And how history or how we evolved is we first, like all animals, have that basic brain, that reptilian brain. We have that emotional brain, where we process emotions, and then we have the logical brain, which is our conscious thoughts, really. So the reptilian brain, it's where all the information comes to at first before it even filters up to those other levels of the brain, and it has to be super interruptive, to get the attention of the reptilian brain. It has to be something that is contrasting, something that is new, something that is unique, that will the emotional brain, yeah, sorry, the reptilian brain
Right.
will capture that information, process it, and say, "Whoa, you suddenly get my attention with this." So when we think about developing ads, banner ads for your advertising on Facebook, a lot of Facebook uses the images. You have to make those images super interruptive
Yeah.
to appeal to that reptilian brain, that part of the brain that is first entered, where all the information is entered first to process before it even goes to logical. And so think about if you see an ad with a bunch of text and words, it does not most times it does not get your attention because it has logical processing involved. What is this about? What is he talking about? I have to read this in detail. The brain doesn't work like that. If you show, like, a perfect example, I always use a pig in a red boots.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's suddenly you see that in your newsfeed. Think about it versus a text based ad. Suddenly you have my attention. What is this about? Because it's new, it's unique, it has bright colors, and the reptilian brain
Exactly.
likes contrast and bright colors. It has this uniqueness that it gets my attention. So that's how the reptilian brain works, and that's how you have to think about and re-engineer your ads when you think about that, when you in the process of creating your ads.
Right, and I think again it's so crucial because if you really want to make an impact, you want to really be able to reach the people that you want to see the ad. You have to really understand how it works, right? And that's really great tips. And the reptilian brain is something that when you craft an ad, you really have to think about that.
Right.
So and I guess I mean I'm trying to do that in my own in our own reach as we try to put our ads out there. So Tarek, what I want to do right now is kind of use my firm as an example and kind of go through some of the funnels that you helped me with. So
Sure.
about a month ago, my regular practice, it's an immigration law practice, as most of you know, and so we had this the visa filing season, which is for us, it's April. It's the biggest visa season filing, the H-1B visa filing. So we wanted to create a specific campaign to target people that are interested in that visa and they're interested to file that for that visa around that time. So it was important to for us to get a campaign set up. So we'd set up a funnel focusing on people that are interested to file the visa. And Tarek, why don't you kind of describe the funnel that you've done for us and how it worked?
Sure. So the H1B was it was a season where I believe it's April 1st, where
Was it?
people
It
who,
was a deadline, the April 1st.
yes,
Yeah.
it was a deadline. People who want to come to work in the U.S., companies have to file a petition um, to get the H-1B visa, right?
Right.
And so what we did, we created two funnels. We created a Google, the funnel, two separate funnels. One was Google AdWords we used, and the other was Facebook ads. So I'll describe the Facebook ads funnel first. For the Facebook ads, we decided to create an ebook that basically said live and work in the U.S. with an H-1B visa, a practical guide for international professionals and entrepreneurs. And in that ebook, we spoke about costly mistakes and people making visa denials and how you can improve your chances, how you can increase your chances for approval with expert advice. And I believe it was a 19-page ebook where it shares tips and tricks and the best kept secrets. And so we created this beautiful ebook with all this good information, and we placed it on a landing page. And what is a landing page? It's a specific page on your website that has a description, only a description of the book, the bullet points, the headline, and a call to action. And when I say call to action, a download. So they click the download button, name, email address pops up, and they enter name, email address to get the book. Now we ran ads, we placed ads on Facebook and we targeted people who had interest in H-1B, people who had interest in work visas, people who had interest in coming to the U.S. to work. We targeted students who are here and wanted to stay in the U.S. and work.
Right.
We also, I think we took your database and uploaded it, and we targeted people from your own email database as well.
Exactly. We use that. So kind of to explain that, we actually took my email list that I used for years. We uploaded it into our Facebook tool, and we targeted those people as well.
Yes.
Correct.
And when they saw this beautiful ad of this beautiful, we had tested a couple ads, but which the particular ad that worked really well was an ad with a U.S. flag in the background, and it had this beautiful girl, and she was holding this little book on H-1B visa approval, and that was when you talk about the American flag, beautiful girl, and she's holding this visa approval, you're talking about a really interruptive image.
Right.
And that ad was a lot of people clicked on it. And when they clicked on it, what happened is they went to this page I described before, where they saw the name of the book, the benefits of the book, and the tips and tricks they'll get when they're filing for the H-1B. And they entered their name, email address. And when they entered the name, email address, they got a video of you giving them, hey, your book is in your email. Check your email now because you just entered your name, email address, emailing it to you. But let me share some really good information, some more information about filing for an H-1B. And you spoke on the video, give them some good information, and then you had a call to action at the end of the video. You said, if you believe that you're a right fit and you believe you meet these criteria I just described, enter your name, your contact information, your phone number, and one of my staff will contact you for a H-1B visa consultation. So what we did there, we removed them from the ad on Facebook to the landing page. And when they entered name, email address, we went further and say, hey, if you think you're a match, enter your phone number. So you see, it's micro commitments all the way, and that's the beauty of a sales process and a sales funnel. It's one little action at every step. They click on the ad, that's a commitment. They click on the download the button, they enter the email address, that's another, and then they saw your video, they entered their phone number, and then we had a follow-up system where one of your staff members got the contact
Right.
information, called them, and had a consultancy session with them to see if they were the right fit and if they had an employer and met the basic criteria. So that's how we had the Facebook funnel set up. And what happened afterwards, if they didn't click on the consultation form below the video, the initial video, we had more emails that give shared information and then had the same call to action at every point. So it was a follow-up system after the initial download of the guide.
And Tarek, we there are two things that we had. So one of the things we're talking about, everything that happens after they get their email in there, they go
Yes,
through an autoresponder type of tool. So why don't you
yes,
share with our listeners what kind of autoresponder we used, and then the ebook. I get a lot of questions when I tell people we had ebooks in some of our campaigns. What kind of ebooks are best to use in those sort of funnels?
right. So I would say an ebook. I'll answer the last question first. The ebook is a really simple, and why I say ebook for Facebook, because Facebook loves that you share content. They love that you share good information, good tips, and the best way to really put together that is through an ebook. And when I say ebook, it could be this ebook it was 19 pages, but it could be 3 pages or 2 pages. It could be a checklist. It could be a quick cheat sheet, and that is really condensed content, but you make sure it's useful and it's beneficial, and usually in a PDF format. And what I do is what we did was we basically created a small draft and we send it to a website called Fiverr. We found someone on Fiverr. That's fiverr.com. Fiverr, and we had a graphics person. We spent like $10, and they created a beautiful PDF that we then stuck up on the page as for the download page. So then we have the autoresponders, which is the other part. So when they click on the ad, they go to your landing page. And when I say the landing page, now this is a page on your website that is really specific about the book and benefits that is in the book, and it has a headline. There's a little button. They click download now, and name, email address form pops up. And when they enter that name, email address, it's actually synced with a back end system that we call an autoresponder. And for example, a good autoresponder is aweber.com or constantcontact.com. You could go on those sites and check out the features. Now, the benefit of this autoresponder is that you can set emails up to go out automatically to your list. So think about it. You show your ad, 100 people opt in for the book. Now you have 100 email addresses in your do it. The autoresponder takes that, it has it in the database, and you can write an email and set a specific time for that email to go out. And hey, congratulations! Here's your welcome. Here's your ebook that you just requested. Also, look out for upcoming emails. We'll have one tomorrow sharing a tip on how to find a job in the U.S. Look out for that email. And that the next email was set up automatically to go out the next day. That drove people it went to the database, the people that opted in, and they were able to click on the link and see the video. They were able to click on the link in the email and see the next video. So the autoresponder is a really simple, automated way to send emails, and you can schedule ahead of time.
Right. Exactly. And so, and there's something even more robust for people who are more advanced, something like Infusionsoft, kind of to add to our list. Very good. So we had that. Any other tools that you can recommend when you do something like that?
So in terms of autoresponders,
Yeah.
there is Mailchimp. Mailchimp used to use Mailchimp before as well. It's a
Yes.
really good tool. And the beautiful thing about things like Infusionsoft and Aweber and Mailchimp is that you can segment your database. So for your case, Jacob, we actually segmented people that were interested in H-1B visas because you run a law practice and immigration firm. There are many people with different interests. There are people who are interested in marriage visas, green cards, work visas. So when people come in from different sources, you can actually create multiple lists with people very relevant and specific content to their needs. And that's a beauty with autoresponders as well. Not only it's automated emails that you can schedule ahead of time, but also you can super target your database.
Right. And in our case, the results of this campaign were just amazing. I mean, I think in less than 2 weeks, we got more than 100 leads from this. So
Right.
this was very successful, and we didn't even spend that much on this. So I mean, I think it was very successful, and I encourage those of you that are not using these techniques on Facebook to explore something very interesting because, just in a nutshell, Tarek, what is the main difference between Google AdWords, where most, attorneys and professionals are using right now, and Facebook ads?
Right. So so one of the things with when you look at it and there's interruptive marketing. So search marketing is like in the old days when you used to actually um, the companies there. Interruptive marketing in the old days are like billboards. That may or may not speak to you. They would, but that may or may not be relevant to you, or an ad in the newspaper. Now, in this modern age of technology, there is Google AdWords, which is really search marketing, and there is Facebook ads, which is more the interruptive type of marketing. Um, so think about ads, or is that when you're in Google.com, and you type into the search box, um, immigration lawyer,
Right,
immigration lawyer San Diego, they are actively looking for a service.
right,
So they're looking for a service to solve an issue or problem or a need that they have. So that's what the search results comes up, and the Google AdWords are listed on top of the search results. So that's an example of how Google AdWords are really effective in that form. Now with Facebook, they are not going in Facebook to search for a solution or search for a company or search for a service. They're going there to really socialize and connect with friends, um, and check their messages and post stuff, post pictures of their cats. Uh, but
right,
but if suddenly an ad pops up that is relevant to them because you have targeted on the back end their interest based on they have probably shared an interest in that they had typed in H-1B, or they liked an immigration page, or they had some association or some past footprint where they had an interest with H-1B, and you show them an interruptive ad that says free guide for to learn how to live and work in the United States, then that's more you interrupt them and you're showing them an ad that is relevant to them.
right.
So they're not actively looking for it, but you're suddenly interrupting them with an ad that's relevant to their needs. And that's the core difference between Google AdWords and Facebook ads. Now, to use to answer your question, which one to use, I would actually use, if you're in the service business, Google AdWords are very effective. If you want to become creative and test different things, and see you want another avenue, I would test Facebook ads as well. But
Right.
you have to be creative. One of the ways of being creative is giving them good free information like an ebook and PDF versus just driving them to a form that they fill out for consultation.
Right, and to me is and what we've done is using Facebook ads. It's just a very good way to increase your reach, and people that may not necessarily think about you when they see this interruptive ad, and they see value in it. Then you gain some interest from people that you may never be able. There wouldn't be another way for you to reach them, right? So that's
Exactly.
interesting. So Tari, as we come to the end of our show, I would like to ask you this. People are listening and say, "Well, we haven't, we don't know, we're not using Facebook at all right now. We don't know where to start." For somebody who has nothing in place, when we're not running ads, we're not been in this space before, what can they do now to start getting leads, to start getting effective results on this, but the right way, like the way that you know?
Right. So what I would do, so let's say you don't have any Facebook ads, you don't have any Google ads, you don't have any strong social media presence. What I would do is actually there use tools to find what competitors are doing. And a simple tool is type in Google and see if you're an immigration law firm, for example, in San Diego. Type in San Diego immigration lawyer and see what comes up. See what your competitors are doing. Um, and there's specific tools like AdBeat. If you go to adbeat.com, where you can actually see your competitors' ads they're running and keywords they're using and how their landing page is working, and see what they're using and what you can model, versus trying to build something from scratch. Now, the first thing is do your research. Competitive research is always important. Or find someone who can do it for you. And on places there are a couple places you can go, even on Fiverr. That's fiverr.com, guru.com. That you'll find people who will do competitive research for you and see what your competitors are really doing and keywords they're using. Now, the next thing you have to make a decision if Facebook is for you or Google AdWords is for you. You have to find a traffic source. And right now, Facebook is a strong traffic source. Google is a strong traffic source. YouTube, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, but you have to really choose one. And if you're in the service business, Google AdWords might be your best bet, right? But you have to make a decision which one you want to choose and don't allocate your resources. Decide on a small budget that you want to for advertising that you want to spend every month towards this for testing. And remember, when you're testing Google AdWords or testing Facebook ads, these are tests that might fail, but you're getting data that okay, this didn't work. What else could I use? So don't look at you run a Facebook ad, it failed. This sucks. It doesn't work. It's just data you're collecting to see. Okay, this doesn't work. Think about it like you're fishing in a big pool, a big pond, and you just have to find where the fishes are biting. You try one place, they didn't bite. You move to another place. So decide on that. For social, if you have, I would say social media to build your social media, like your fan page and SEO. That's a long-term strategy that you have run in the background. But allocate some money for Facebook ads or Google AdWords, depends on what you want to do. The next thing, other than competitive research and deciding on what you want to use, is set up a simple website if you don't have one. And WordPress is a good tool to use. And then you could use something called leadpages.net. That's a lead, Lead pages.net. And they have very beautiful templates where it's it's a landing page where you could share really specific content on. If it's an ebook, you can have headline and bullet points and a call to action button for them to download. If it's a consultation, you'll have your headline, your benefits if they call, and you have their phone number. So set up that where you take someone from the ad to the specific page, the lead pages, if you're using lead pages. The next thing to do is make sure you have a on that page and you have a direct offer of service. So let's say an immigration lawyer, you want to have on that page just H-1B or if you're or green cards. So just make sure the offer is really specific to the ad. Don't say just I'm an immigration lawyer offering services to everyone in San Diego, offering immigration services. It's too generic. Just get specific on your services. So your ad will have a specific service that leads to a page that has that matches that specific service. The next thing also would be eventually plugging in and what we spoke about earlier, an autoresponder system. That's really something like Aweber or Constant Contact or Infusionsoft that would have an email backend that will, when they enter their name email address that you capture on their landing page, you'll be able to follow up with them with more emails and nurture and build that trust. So really simple to recap is do some competitive research. You can either do it yourself or outsource it. Decide on which traffic source you want to use, Facebook or Google AdWords. Google AdWords might be your best bet if you're a lawyer in the service business. So I would decide on social media is more long term, SEO is more long term. Set up a landing page and write really specific copy for on that page for a specific offer, and whatever service it is. If it's H-1B or green card, if you're an immigration lawyer, depends on which field you're in. And eventually have a backend system, an autoresponder to follow up with the leads that you capture from those pages.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Tarek. This is very useful information. And again, for those that are not have not been using these kind of tools like Facebook ads or just Facebook as a research tool and as a lead generation, that can be a good way to start. And of course, combining it with lead pages and all these other things that you mentioned could be a great way to test something different. Because if you always do the same thing, you're not going to get results because everybody else is doing the same thing. So this can be a very interesting outlet for you guys to try something totally different. Tarek, I wanted to thank you very much. This is amazing information. People kind of will have links in our show notes and all the points that we just talked about it, so make it easier for you guys to get that information. Once again, thank you for taking the time, and I'm going to let you get back to enjoying your time in beautiful San Diego.
Thanks for having me, Jacob.
Thanks. And again, if you have any questions about what you heard, just feel free to email me, jacob@enchantinglawyer.com, and we'll see you at our next episode. Have a great day, and I look forward to getting your emails, your comments, really inspiring us to continue what we're doing.